Hey y'all, I'm Shayna. If you're new here, I'm doing a review for Belle Collective Season 2, Episode 7. And I think the Bells are given this season compared to last season, which, the first season, we're trying to get to know them, this and that. I think they are really bringing it this season. I thought this episode was pretty good. So definitely watching to the end to find out what happens. And before we get into it, help your girl out. Definitely like and subscribe. I'm trying to grow my channel, so it's free of charge and it helps me tremendously. So click those buttons. Thank y'all. I'm going to go ahead and jump into it. So we pick up where we left off last week with Akeisha and Letitia, and they still arguing about the plate gate, and I'm tired of hearing plate. But you know what? I'm just sitting there looking at Tambra, and I'm like, Tambra just basically in this moment got away with being messy. She was messy, and they're arguing with each other when Tambra really started this whole thing. Akeisha, once again, she insinuates that Letitia is jealous of her. I don't think anyone is jealous of you, Akeisha. The fact that you keep saying it is just making things worse for you because you're not a fan fave. I understand she came in as a villain, and saying this is just not helpful at all if she wants to flip this thing around and get on folks' good side. But I digress. So Letitia calls Marie, and Marie confirms that Tambra said that Akeisha said the Bells are unattractive. Akeisha denies. She denies. I believe Akeisha said something along those lines. Tambra did, make a statement later on in the show that she didn't say that word exactly, but she was basically saying that, and she was implying it, allegedly. So Tambra got frustrated and her voice changed real quick. Her real voice slipped up and slipped out. Okay, she wants to sound a certain way. She wants to enunciate this and that. That went out the window when she got upset. And Latrice said, Westside Tambra is coming out. She's shaking the table. I'm about to pray for Akeisha. I'm cracking up. Hold on. Sorry, y'all. My air kicked on, started making all this noise in the back. We don't need that. Like, I'm already recording off this fuzzy laptop, and now noise issues, we ain't having it. But I'm going to get it together, y'all. So, after Latrice made the comment, she definitely gives me the comedic relief. She is so funny. But, Tambra, after she got done shaking that table. So Gucci says in her confessional that Tambra caused the arguments at this sistervention, and she believes that she had the sistervention because she knows she's been, kind of loose-lipped saying different things, and she wanted to get control of the situation, but it backfired on her. And I actually agree with this. I think she had the sistervention so they can put her out on the table and, argue amongst themselves, but they ended up letting all the Tambra skeletons out the closet and revealing everything that she done went and said. So Akeisha is sitting there. She's surprised to find out that basically nobody likes her. Where's the shock? And, Latrice said this is her last sistervention. I don't believe you. As long as you're on the show and they're filming, you'll be at the sistervention. Moving on. Even Marie was there via FaceTime. She got paid for the day, so stop it. So Marie tried to expose Tambra's alleged sneaky link. Like, she was saying she was at an event with a guy, and Tambra's like, no, that's just my friend, whatever. And people are questioning if Tambra is really with Greedy, aka Damon. So Letitia apologized to Akeisha, and I'm wondering what she's apologizing for. I know they both were making comments. She did. Later on, we realized that she took it a little bit too far with one of her comments. Other than that comment she made that she took too far, I don't think she should have apologized. You feel how you feel. Akeisha is blaming the ladies not liking her based on Tambra making those comments. But it's not just Tambra. You came in too hot. You came in like you was that girl. You came in like everybody's jealous and envious of me. And I have all these things. And it rubbed people the wrong way. Nobody liked it. I didn't. And I'm not even on the show. So we move on and we see that Latrice and So Gucci are looking for a new location for Goddess Links, and I don't know if they planned this on purpose, but they was looking real good in that yellow. I love how it complements their skin. It just really looked nice. You know, I love me a good yellow. So Gucci is showing a historic building, and Latrice wants something modern. And I'm thinking, okay, I know maybe y'all, because they try to say they were like friends before. Clearly, y'all just met, or you didn't really discuss this, because why are we showing Latrice a historic building where you can't even make changes to the ceiling, certain things you can't do to the building? Obviously, we can tell that Latrice would prefer something modern, even at her location she's in right now. Y'all may say it's in the hood or whatever, but it looks modern and nice on the inside. So I didn't think that showing her a historic building made sense. While they're talking, they start discussing blending families. Shout out to my Instagram page that I've had for a few years now called Black Blended Families _ on Instagram. I definitely support the blended family. I love when people get a second chance at love and blend their families together, and it's not always easy. And so I'm glad we're seeing more So Gucci's storyline, because it definitely, absolutely touches on trying to blend families, children, etc. And Latrice is saying she's considering having a child one day. She does want to have a part of her out there in the world and leave a legacy behind. But that day ain't today. It ain't happening no time soon, but maybe eventually. I think she might want to have one. Does she want to have one with Cliff? I don't know, but I think eventually she may want to have children, or at least a child. Excuse me, let me get some water. So we move to the next scene, and Akeisha comes home. She's coming back to the house with her Telfar bag. Shout out to, a Black-owned business on the show. I have a bag myself. I don't use it often, but I love the brand and I love to see it. So her husband Willie is talking about the guy's fishing trip and on the infidelities. Akeisha is discussing the sistervention, and she's really hurt by Letitia's comment. Letitia said that Akeisha was born into a family that didn't want her. And that's where she took it too far, and I'm assuming that's why she apologized, because that was just wrong. It was unnecessary to mention that, and we went from dirty plates all the way. Like, how did we get all the way up there? Like, Akeisha didn't hit below the belt and bring up yo messy marriage or none of that. So it was unnecessary to bring up. Akeisha gives us a background on her family dynamic. She says she was adopted by her aunt. So her aunt raised her. Her biological mother and father were in a situationship. And so basically they gave her up. And she had resentment towards her mother for giving her away. And so her comment really hurt her. And rightfully so. I mean, we may feel how we feel about Akeisha, but I think this moment humanized her for sure and took her out of the villain mode and just made it real for us. This is her background. And so part of this probably contributes to why she acts the way that she does. The comment was just unnecessary. And as of now, Akeisha no longer wants to work with Letitia on the Fair Street project. Now, we know that might change later on down the line. I think they need to have another conversation alone with no one else around to really discuss this. But that was very hurtful, Letitia. You didn't have to take it there. So we see that Willie, he's complaining that he wants to leave Jackson again. He says this every episode. He makes it clear that he don't want to be there. He don't like it. As long as they filming, y'all gonna be there, so hush. Moving on, Melanie visits Tambra. Hey, my fellow tall sis. I gotta shout out a tall sis when I can, because I'm tall myself, and so I love that Melanie is ripping the runway all up and through Belle Collective, and she's not even a full-time cast member. And we saw her over there on Real Housewives of Atlanta. So they briefly discussed the sistervention. Tambra wants Melanie to walk, and Melanie like, I kind of hung up the runway. Like, I haven't walked since I was Miss Atlanta in 2005. But you can walk. It's like riding a bike. Put your heels on and walk that stage. You look like you're walking along a runway everywhere you go anyway. So girl, go ahead and do it. Just, do it for Jackson. Put on for Jackson. So Gucci is also going to walk as well. Love to see it. So we see that a little bit more Gucci Gucci's family. And I'm glad, even though it's episode 7 and this is really like the second time we're getting into her storyline, I'm glad that we're seeing more of her storyline. And they're discussing their blended families. All their daughters are home. We know that the pregnant daughter lives there. And then JJ's 3 daughters are coming home. I guess they went away to college, so they're coming to visit. So Gucci's daughter Dee said that her and her brother felt left behind when Gucci started dating JJ. She felt like she wanted this perfect family so bad, and she felt like she put her and her brother to the wayside. Like, we don't know if that's true, but that's her feelings. That's how she was feeling. So they're sitting there, they're talking, they're glad that they're finally going to have a family conversation. I'm wondering where the brother is, but in this moment, I'm glad that the girls got to talk, but they need to have a conversation again with the son as well, because I want to hear his perspective on just growing up and how it was blended families. Even though Gucci told us last week they didn't even live in the same house until they got married, which was only 4 short years ago. So Gucci brought up her daughter brought up a colorism issue. Her daughter Dee said that when they were showered together, the JJ's daughters who are light skinned were saying, "We don't want you to use our soap because you're dirty." My first thought was, why were they showering together? They said this is like 10 years ago or whatever. I still don't see why they were showering together. I don't see why they were showering together. I just want to say that. Since they were, maybe they feel like they're young. Y'all can go ahead and just jump in there together, whatever. I'm wondering, did they not see the sign? I feel like when you pay attention to kids, you can feel a little bit of tension. So, and I'm wondering if Dee ever said anything to her mom. There's just so much that just one conversation is not going to answer all these questions. I have so many questions, and this is one conversation on camera is not going to answer them all. I don't think they need to have future conversations on camera. I think they need to have them with a family therapist. But the colorism issue is there, and Dee says it still affects her today. And she's explaining why she really don't talk to JJ's daughters like that. They're becoming extremely defensive and kind of over talking her. They're accusing Dee of being the bully, but right now in this moment, it seems like y'all the ones doing the bullying, in my opinion. So I'm actually believing what Dee is saying. They were saying she has her way of remembering it. That's not how it was. It's all about perception. There's your version or her version or her version, and then somewhere in there lies the truth. But I believe what she's saying. I don't feel like she's making this up. Now, were they just kids? Kids can be cruel. Kids can be mean. Kids can say things. Were they just being kids and they didn't even realize in that moment? They were just saying it for the moment, and they didn't realize that it was going to have a long-term effect on her the way it is? I don't know. So, so Gucci was saying she's hurting, that her daughter's hurting. But JJ just wants to move forward. He's like, Dee is pregnant. You're going to need help. We need to move on. No, we don't need to just move on, though. To move on fully, we need to really address what's going on. Was she feeling issues with colorism before they came in the picture? Was she really feeling it when they came along? Their comments obviously affected her. Being, a dark-skinned woman myself, I know. I didn't have sisters or anything. I was the only child. But I know how it really affected dark-skinned women in the community, especially in them 2000s, honey. It was a thing. It's always been a thing. It's been a thing since way back in slavery. Colorism is an ongoing issue. And so where they might have just been being mean in a moment, this has to be addressed. If she's still seeing somebody about this today. She says she sees a counselor about this till this day. So we're not going to just move on because she's pregnant and just sweep it under the rug. They still clearly not feeling each other, honestly. So Dee says she feels better. She felt like her voice was heard. She meant it. She's relieved. I'm glad she's pregnant. She don't need no stress. But we're not just going to act like, oh, well, let's move on and be one happy family. That's going to have to take time and a lot more conversations. And you have to talk about it and talk about it and talk about it until everyone is healed. Blending a family just isn't always easy, but I'm glad that we do get to see more of Gucci's storyline and we get to see their family dynamic. And I hope that all the girls and the son get, on the same page and they begin to have a real tight-knit, close relationship. So the fashion show has come. Letitia comes with Glenn, and she says we're not together. It's just for charity. We're just, putting on and just showing up together, but we're not back together. Letitia, I'm glad this wasn't like too Letitia heavy, because Letitia, you have been lying about y'all not being together, allegedly, in my opinion, since episode 1 of season 2. Y'all ain't never broke up. That ring has been on your finger. You don't live with your mama. You live at home with him. I don't know if Glenn works anywhere anymore. I don't know what's going on. But what I do know, in my mind, y'all still together. Stop it. So Melanie walks the stage, and Melanie looks the F good. Honey, she looks good. JJ started throwing money and making it rain on So Gucci when So Gucci came onto the stage. He's so crazy. He jumped up on the stage with her, threw them ones, them 5 to 10 ones he had, and threw it on the stage and made it rain. I said, ugh. I know she might be cracking up all day, but ooh, he just gotta make it so ghetto. But his little spunky personality, he had to put on for his wife, and I love that he loves his wife and makes her feel good. So Tambra is in the middle of hosting. The fashion show's coming to the end, and Damon jumps on the stage with the roses, and it looks like he's about to propose. They keep showing the scene, they pause, they make it suspenseful. Nothing happens, he doesn't propose, nothing special. Why did you interrupt this lady to give her these roses if he was not about to do nothing special like propose? You could have gave her the roses when the show was over with. Like, you jumped up on there, caused a scene, had everybody looking, and did not propose. I think that was very rude. So nasty, so rude. Keep them roses till the show is over and hand them to her. Embarrassing that lady like that. So after the show, Letitia pulls Damon, aka Greedy, because he said, I'm not Damon, I'm Greedy. Well, your mama named you what she named you, but okay. He wants to be greedy. And Letitia wants to discuss the emotional connection with her friend. And he didn't clear up nothing at all. He like, I got an emotional connection with God. Hush, sir. He didn't clear up nothing. So in the confessional, Tambra is standing by her man, and they like, we not addressing this no more, this and that. Latrice walks up because she sees them talking, and she sees, just in case it's getting heated, she want to stand there and make sure everything is cool. And she thinks something's up with Tambra and Damon's relationship. And everyone keeps saying that they think something's up with their relationship. Like, y'all really need to say what y'all are thinking. Like, what do y'all think they faking it? Like, what y'all thinking? Like, because y'all keep saying that y'all think something's up with their relationship. So I want to know, what is it that y'all are thinking? A security guard, because Tambra ends up walking over there, and a security guard comes and like separates everyone, and he ushers Tambra and Damon away. He like escorts them off to the side. And Latrice is like, what's that about? Everybody's like, what's this about? Like, what's going on with them that y'all got the security guard coming up here? So we will find out on the next episode. That is where the episode ends. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Are y'all feeling this season? Do y'all think Tambra and Damon are really a real couple? Do you think Latrice is going to have a baby? Because I don't know. Let me know all of your thoughts. Let's talk about it down in the comments. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe, turn on the notification bell, all of that good stuff. And I will see you guys on the next one. Bye.